All right. Hi, everybody. I am Meredith Ranker with Roberts Camera in Indianapolis, and we have a wonderful opportunity today to sit down with Mark Cruz, who is a senior manager at Nikon USA. Mark, thank you so much for being here with us today.
My pleasure, Meredith. Thanks for having me.
This is an awesome opportunity for us to be able to pick your brain about some of Nikon's new announcements that have just come out, specifically the Nikon Z6II and the Z7II. I want to dive into some questions here today, and these questions come from a little bit all over our staff here, some of our customers, me. So again, I would just really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us this morning and give us a little bit more insight into these cameras and also, what Nikon is doing for the future. My first question is just going to start out very specifically on these cameras. What about the new technology in these camera systems are you most excited about?
Well, for me, I'm most excited about the hardware upgrades that we were able to implement here. We were able to implement some software upgrades over the course of the first couple of years of the Z6 and Z7. Now it's time to address a lot of the hardware upgrades that our customers have wanted, notably the higher end users, event photographers, wedding photographers that wanted dual card slots. And we've implemented that in these models. We have a CF Express card slot and an SD card slot. I heard from a lot of people saying, I would get the Z6 or the Z7 if it just had dual card slots. So now we have those in here, addressing that need. Another one of the hardware upgrades I'm really excited about, I have it right now on the camera, is a vertical battery grip, a functional vertical battery grip. This is the new MBN11, and it's compatible on these new bodies now because it has contacts for the grip. So in our initial release, we had a grip or a pack called the MBN10, and that was simply to give you extra power. This will actually give you functional release or shutter release on the vertical, as well as aperture and shutter controls and autofocus joystick on the back here. So this is great because not only for people that are shooting vertically for portraits, but also if they were doing something like having a 70 to 200 or bigger lenses attached to this, the battery grips help stabilize the camera. And I know that a lot of people with larger hands or just love that security of having the second battery in there like to have this option. It does come with a hot swappable first battery here closest to the door. So if you're doing video production, you never have to interrupt your production. One of the other couple things that I'm really excited about is the dual processors in here. So it really addresses the need for a bigger buffer that we had some feedback in the first generation that it was a little bit too small. Now we've more than tripled that buffer with the dual processors, and even given the camera's faster frame rates. With the Z6II, it's up to 14 frames per second, which we've never really hit before on a mirrorless camera, apart from, say, the D6 and our DSLRs. And now we're up to 10 frames per second on the 45 megapixel Z7II. And that's really a medium format resolution. And we're able to churn out 77 shots at 45 megapixels with the dual processor. So I'm really happy about that. And the reason we can do that is because we're using CF Express cards. So among other things, I think those are the things that I'm most excited about. I'll mention two more: low light capability. We have improved low light autofocus in this, as well as new video features like 4K 60.
That's fantastic. All of that is awesome to hear. I know dual processors and dual card slots were two of the things that everybody here was very excited to see when these announcements came out. Now, do you see pro shooters that may have hesitated switching to mirrorless moving to these new cameras because of some of this new technology?
Yeah, definitely because of the things that I mentioned. I think it's new for a lot of people that are used to their DSLRs, namely because they're unsure about the viewfinder experience. How is it going to measure up to their optical viewfinder? We're confident, even 2 years ago when we came out with the Z6 and Z7, that the electronic viewfinder we're giving here is the best, one of the best viewfinders on the market today. It's not just because of the resolution, but because of the Nikon optics in front of the electronic viewfinder. It really makes a smooth experience, among the other benefits of the electronic viewfinder, being able to see your exposure and whatnot. But I think a lot of people that came from the DSLR world just really wanted that feeling of robustness that they had with their pro-grade DSLRs and weather sealing and whatnot. We have that really in these mirrorless cameras. Yes, they're smaller, yes, they're lighter and more compact, but they're built to the same degree as a D850, for example. Same amount of weather sealing. We're using the same magnesium alloy for lightweight but rigidity, and as well as even all the other S-line lenses and the battery grips. They're kind of, and even the teleconverters, they're built to the same grade if they're an S-line lens, for example. So we're really confident about the type of product that we're releasing now, 2 years into the game, because it's a truly professional platform. When we released it 2 years ago, we only had three lenses and two bodies. And that was just a start. So people that were being first early adopters weren't really going to abandon their DSLRs. Now I think there's a viable alternative, especially because we have the trinity of 2.8 lenses now. What are we at now? Right now, 2020, 2 years into it, we have 16 lenses, many of them 1.8 prime lenses. We have 1.2, which I'm filming this on right now. I have the 1.2 50 millimeter prime, and the complete 2.8 trinity from 14 to 24, 24 to 70, and 70 to 200, all in the native Z series. And those concerns that I mentioned before, the dual card slots, the vertical battery grip, those professional type of accessories are now implemented in generation 2 of the Z6II and Z7II. So among other things, I think those are the biggest reasons that people can now start seriously looking at the Z platform for advanced amateurs as well as professionals.
Perfect. And that actually takes me into my next question, which is one of the things that we had heard previously, which you addressed, was people hesitating to switch to the Z system because, you know, maybe there wasn't the full lineup of lenses that they'd hoped to see. You had mentioned kind of that full trinity being available. What does the roadmap of lenses for the Z series camera look like for the near future?
Well, you know, usually Nikon is a very, tight-lipped company when it comes to these things, but we've sort of pivoted in this regard in that we're actually giving you a full roadmap until the end of 2021. So if you go and check out our website, we actually have a list of focal lengths in there of lenses that are coming out. And I can tell you that by the end of 2021, we're going to have 8 more lenses in that lineup. Some of them are for the DX format. There's macro that's addressed in there, super telephoto zooms, as well as medium range zoom lenses that we have in there as well. And at the time of the launch of these new Z6II and Z7II, we announced 3 more lenses that were coming out in 2022. So that'll be a total of 11 that we can tell you thus far. And those are the 85, another 85 millimeter. I can't tell you the aperture just yet, but as well as a 400 and a 600 millimeter. And I think that's really good news for a lot of people, because when we announced our teleconverters a couple of months ago, we only had 1 lens that was compatible with it, but it was obviously an allusion to super telephotos coming down the road. And we can tell you that we are coming out with a 400 millimeter and a 600 millimeter. And I think this is important for wildlife, birders, sports photographers that need that focal length native to this format. So the Z6II, Z7II gives you autofocus options you just don't get in a DSLR. And now you can apply those to these super telephoto lenses that are just down the road. So we're really excited about that because we're rapidly expanding the system in a short time frame.
That's so great to hear. And I know for photographers out there that really want to move to this system that may have held off for that reason, that'll be wonderful news for them, and they can check out the lenses that are coming down the road. Since we're talking a little bit about kind of future products, some of the questions we've heard on the Z series, are there plans for a sub $700 like intro level mirrorless camera at all?
You're really pushing me on this one, but I'll tell you this.
Oh, I've got more.
Bring it on. But, in terms of that, I can't really reveal what our plans are, but I will tell you that right now, you can get an $859 Z50, and that is our entry into our mirrorless category. That's a very highly regarded DX or crop sensor, APS-C type sensor Z camera, and that is around the $860 mark. In our full frame entry lineup, we have a test drive program going on right now, so people should check that out if they want to learn a little bit more about the Z5 when they're getting into full frame. But in terms of our entry point into price, that starts at the Z50 right now, and that starts at about $860.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that is a great camera, and obviously one that we also talk to people about when they're looking to do video streaming. I guess that's another question that had come up from both our sales staff and customers. Obviously, 2020 has brought this demand for live streaming and video like we've never seen before. What is Nikon looking at to expand their camera technology to support live streaming for video?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Meredith, because we've done a lot in a short period of time. Number one, we actually now have a webcam utility that allows you to use select DSLRs and Z cameras to use as your webcam. So right now I'm shooting this on a Z6 as well as a 50mm 1.2, and it's being powered through the USB port. So, or sorry, not powered through the USB port. That's a different model, but I can communicate through the USB port. With the new models, with the Z6II, Z7II, not only can you communicate with your laptop or your desktop, but you can also power it at the same time. That means you don't necessarily need the quote-unquote dummy battery to put in there if you're running these web conferences and things like that for extended periods of time. I will say, however, the batteries in our new cameras are phenomenal. They run up to 1 hour and 45 minutes based on our SEPA ratings. So it's a new battery in here, the NEL15C, and that'll give you 1 hour and 45 minutes for video. But in terms of what we're doing for this whole web streaming, reality that we're in right now, I want to talk about the USB power delivery that we have on these now, because you can run for indefinite periods of time and literally just power it through your laptop. It's readily available. And the other thing I will mention too is if you're doing this a lot, I would highly suggest looking at the Z cameras like the Z50 or the Z5, because of the lenses and the autofocus system that we have. I mean, I'll do this right now. I mean, if I go closer to you, it's on face detect right now, and it's really just going to pick up my face on the new cameras that has eye detect in video, and it can adjust. And as I move back, even if I had something in my hand, like anything, it would pick up on that, and it has face detect. So it's very reliable, very good for video, and that's something that's exclusive to the Z system.
Okay, fantastic. That's great. And I know, Mark, we're getting a little bit short on time, so I'm going to ask you, obviously, my two elephant in the room questions. The first is, we all know this year has been really tough for inventory and availability. These new cameras, Z6II and Z7II, I know the Z6II is going to be available in November. Z7II is December. Do you feel like these will be readily available throughout the channel? Are they going to be a little bit restricted? Can you talk about that at all?
No, the one thing I can't talk about is the availability timing, where, as you said, we're going to be slated for November for the Z6II. The Z7II will be December. Different regions have their specific allocations, but I know that it's going to be a popular camera, especially because of the price points that they're at right now. The Z7II is coming out at a lower price than the Z7 did when it initially came out, so you're getting extraordinary value. We had challenges in the past regarding certain lenses that have come out, but we're really rounding the turn now, and I think our scheduling is very accurate. As well, I'll mention a couple of things down the pipe, since we're on time frames right now. We also have firmware updates, significant firmware updates coming up in February of next year, and that'll address the 4K 60. So I just wanted to mention to your viewers, out of the box, the 4K 60 feature on the Z6II will be enabled through a firmware update in February, and that's going to be a DX crop for the Z6II, for the Z7II. Out of the box, when it ships in December, we will have 4K 60 available. It's almost full frame. It's about 93% of the frame. And I just wanted to mention one more thing that's coming down the pipe in February, and that will be a firmware update for both of these cameras to enable something called Blackmagic devices. So that's the Blackmagic RAW format. That's in addition to the ProRes RAW format that we enable through a paid firmware upgrade through the HDMI port, so you can get a 12-bit output to your recorder.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's great to know. Thank you. And then I think my last question is going to be, obviously, you know, at camera stores, we like to check out the rumor sites and see what's going on. Does Nikon have a pro level Z camera, kind of D6 equivalent, in the works for sports and action shooters?
Well, you know, put me in the hot seat, why don't you? You know, I'll tell you right this. I can't reveal our planning on this regard, but I'm not going to send you home empty-handed. I will say that flagship cameras are an important statement, and especially ones that are having cutting-edge technologies. So it's, and especially for a company like Nikon, who has such a dedication to imaging, that we believe that flagship cameras are an important statement. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I appreciate that. Mark, I really am so grateful for your time this morning. Thank you for taking a few minutes to sit down with us and talk about these new cameras that we're really excited about. I will say, obviously, with all the challenges that 2020 has brought us, you know, new products have kept everybody going and kept people talking and have really excited the industry in a lot of different ways this year. So I'm really excited to see these cameras from Nikon, and we look forward to getting them here in the store and letting customers check them out. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And we will talk to you soon. In the meantime, stay healthy and safe, and give everyone at Nikon our best.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure, and we're really excited about it here too at Nikon. It's really a perfect storm of cameras and lenses and releases coming out all at the same time. So it's a great thing for Nikon, but especially for the industry and our photographers out there as well.
I couldn't agree more, Mark. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.